Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the moss life cycle, which of course you've got a 10-point question on test 4 about the moss life cycle. And what do we have here? Mosses. Are we looking at the gametophyte or the sporophyte generation? The gametophyte. The prominent generation in bryophytes and only bryophytes is the gametophyte generation. And here we have some mosses and ferns. The interesting thing is the mosses, that's the gametophyte generation. Ferns, that's in group 2. They're in group 2. That's the sporophyte generation you're looking at. In this tree right here, that's in, I'm not sure what group it's in, maybe a gymnosperm, but that's the sporophyte as well. So what do we got here? We're going to start down here and work our way around in pictures. First, the female structures on the gametophyte side. Here's a picture from your book. What is each one of these little bottles called? An archegonium. What's at the bottom of each bottle? An egg cell. Here's some pictures I took for the slides you're using. How many archegonia here? Oh, half a dozen. You can see the egg cells. And this is called the archegonial head here that they're all attached to. Here we are up closer and personal. The sperm cell will have to swim down the neck of the bottle to reach the egg. Yes, indeed. Female. Let's look at the male side of the program. We have these structures holding antheridia up in the air. Antheridial heads, they're called. And here's a picture, a nice picture of an antheridium. Let's look at this picture first from your book. Each antheridium, there's an antheridium. Inside are lots of what? Sperm cells. Here's another picture, about a dozen antheridia there. And on what's called an antheridial head, the structure that holds them up in the air. And what is this developing inside? Developing inside lots and lots and lots of little sperm cells, right? So the sperm cells are released, they do their thing, fertilization, zygote, and what develops? The sporophyte, the much rarer. You don't see the sporophyte too often. This is getting to be a pretty good time of year to see them out there in the woods. But the sporophyte is this stalk plus the little bulge on top. The little bulge on top. So here's a picture from your book. A stalk with a bulge on top. Every one of these stalks is anchored in a what? If you follow it back down, the stalk is anchored in what structure? An archegonium. Yes, an archegonium. Here's some pictures off the internet there. What is this? This is part of the sporophyte. It is the top of it. It's that little bulge at the top. What is the name we're going to call that bulge? We're going to call it the sporangium. The sporangium, part of the sporophyte. The sporophyte includes the stalk and the sporangium. So let's follow it on down. Oh my goodness. What is that stalk there? That stalk is right here. It's what was holding the sporophyte, the sporangium up in the air. What's the chromosome number of all these cells? It's what? It is 2N, right? We're in the sporophyte generation. And so that is the sporangium. What are these little things inside? Depends on whether it's before or after what? Meiosis. If it's before meiosis, what are you going to call these guys? Sporocytes. After meiosis, we call them what? Spores. And so the spores go, they actually sort of get fired out of the structure, and they land and they divide by, here's the spores down here. If I can find my cursor, there it is. Here's our spores right here. And spores, if they land in the right place, do the spore thing. Spores are reproductive cells. How do they reproduce? By what? By mitosis. And there is a baby stage here, an immature stage of the gametophyte called a what? A protonema. And protonema, here's some pictures. Oh, it's so pretty. It looks kind of like a blue fungus, you might say. But a lot prettier than fungi aren't this pretty. But anyway, a very beautiful translucent greenish color. And this again is an immature what? That's a protonema, but which side of the life cycle are we on? The haploid side. This is an immature gametophyte. And so the buds that develop the protonema continue this process. What do these arrows represent? They represent what? Mitosis, more mitosis. And so that brings us to this slide right here. This is a gametophyte. A gametophyte. What's this up here? The protonema it developed from. There you see it a little closer, the protonema. And so we have here a young gametophyte. Every cell in this picture is what chromosome number? It is haploid. This is the gametophyte generation. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, in pictures, the moss life cycle. Bye-bye.